Welcome back to Studio Chatter. Have you thought about a will or a trust but just didn't know where to start? Let's welcome Ken Prigmore from Prigmore Law to the chat.
Hello.
Hello, Ken.
We're super excited.
We are. Natasha actually reached out to you to have you come on the show, and
Yes,
she's not here, unfortunately, but
She ranted and raved about
She did.
your expertise.
she sure
Which
did.
I appreciate very much.
So tell us a little bit about you and what you do.
Okay, well, I'm an estate planning attorney. My focus is wills, trusts, and probates. And I've been an attorney for over 16 years. We've lived for several years in Spanish Fork. We raised a few of our children here. We have 7 kids.
Ooh.
And,
Wow, good for you.
That
So he
alone
needs
could
a
be a
will.
whole
He
segment.
needs a will.
He needs
so
a
there's
long
no
one.
fighting, right? Maybe
We're working
not.
on that.
He's like, I don't know.
I'm more the judge in that case. But,
Nice.
and then I'm actually a recent graduate of Spanish Fork University.
Oh, did you love that?
I loved it. That was so much fun.
What was the one thing that has really stuck with you since you've graduated?
Oh, it was definitely the experience with the police officers. They're amazing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we got
I
to
have
do some of
heard.
what they do. We had wax bullets. We were shooting at each other.
Wow.
How did you do? That's
It
the
was
question.
terrifying. But it was eye-opening and made me appreciate what they do so much more.
That's awesome.
I
My
bet.
husband's in this go around.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll love it.
And your second favorite was here at SF17.
That's
for
right.
sure.
That's
Okay,
right.
perfect.
Sorry, I should have said that first.
Well, that's why you're not nervous and you're like, hey, I'm ready
Yeah,
to do
I got this.
So you said you've been an attorney for 16 years.
Yes.
There's a lot of ways you could have gone with that. Why this route?
Well, I tried a few different routes and
Okay.
attempted a few different things, saw what I liked and what I didn't, and weeded it out. And this is what I enjoy. My favorite thing is sitting down and putting together documents that keep people out of court.
Oh,
So,
we need
and-
more people
So
like that.
yeah, proper planning
Right.
then keeps that all at ease. Okay, so tell us one of your favorites. So say Stacy or I came in and said, okay, this is what I have. How do I go about doing it? When is the time to start doing it as well? When you're 40?
Oh, that's
20,
a great
50,
question.
time frame.
I get clients from just about every age group. A lot of them are coming in maybe in their 60s and 70s and saying, we're embarrassed, but we never got around to this. And that's okay. That's normal. But as long as you have a house or if you have children, then you have a reason for an estate plan.
Okay.
For the house, we're going to go to probate if it's still in your name at your death.
And probate
Yep,
means,
I-
for the
Explain
layman?
that.
Back to court.
Okay.
Going to court and having to get a judge to approve who's going to be able to sell the house, who's going to inherit, things like that. If we have a trust, then we skip court completely.
So say I just told my oldest daughter, like, you take care of it, you can have the house and just sell it and divide it out. Does that count?
You can do that, but there are things that can go wrong is the problem. For example, to make that work, you might choose to add your oldest daughter to your deed as a joint tenant on your property. I've seen that happen a
Oh,
lot.
that's interesting.
It's kind of a workaround, but unless you only have one child and they actually live in your home and they're going to be living there before they sell, then they're not going to be able to sell it as their personal residence. And as a result, they have to pay the back taxes owed on the increase in value since the date you purchased it. If you purchased it over 10 years ago, that's a lot of increase, and it could be up to 20% of that could be taxes.
So it sounds like this planning is going to help people save a lot of money, not just by not going back to court and time, but also, like what you're saying, if it's set up right.
To avoid paying
Is this
more
to
tax?
help us avoid paying taxes?
Avoiding the taxes is the main reason people do it, but there are other reasons. If you add a child to your house before you die, and they have a creditor who gets a judgment in court against them, they can force the sale of your home to collect half of that
Now
value.
that's scary. You
Yeah.
just
I
never
think
know.
even besides the financial end of it, it's just after the death of a loved one, it's an emotional
Oh, yes.
It
time.
is.
It's triggering for a lot of families. There's a lot of fights that ensue, and so it's just better, I think,
That's
to have
the last thing you want to do.
Yeah,
is
a
to
lot
have
of the
to-
details
Even if you
taken
are
care
a
of.
family that gets along and feel like you have it set
You
in
might
stone,
not afterwards.
Yeah.
that
though.
gun may be more important than you think it is.
Right, the estate plan saves a lot of that arguing. We already have somebody who's supposed to be in charge, so everybody says, okay, go ahead, you do it, knowing that if they do it wrong, they can still take them to court and say, you have to step up or we're going to remove you as trustee.
So tell me the process when someone dies and you actually, someone had a will, they had a will all set up and a trust. How does that go into play? Like, so someone dies, so what's the
Where
next
do you
step?
go? Yes.
What do you do now?
It's so smooth. If you have an estate plan in place, whoever you've named as your successor trustee immediately has the right to go to the bank, pull out money, pay for things. They can go to a title company and sign a deed selling the property to someone else.
Do they have to have like a death certificate to show the bank to be like, okay, this
That's right.
person's died, and so then it's just
As long as you have a death certificate, you can do almost everything in the process in a very short time.
okay.
Some people have a mortgage on the house still when they die. And if you don't have an estate plan, then you're signing up to get on the probate calendar with the court, and you're waiting for that to happen, and you may have to make mortgage payments while you wait.
Yeah, what's
Another
the
good
time
point.
frame for that for a probate?
It depends. I've actually had a probate that I was able to go start to finish in 3 days, which
Oh,
is
wow.
quite fast.
Quick.
Some of them can take a couple of months. If there's a conflict between any parties, it can go for years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all over the board.
Right.
And is it just because of death or illness or something like that? Is that important to have a trust or a will? Is that something that you include in it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
My trust package includes the trust, 2 wills, 2 power of attorneys, and 2 healthcare directives. So the power of attorney is super helpful. If you're unable to handle your finances on your own, this person is suddenly authorized to take money out of your bank and pay your bills. And it's not their money, they can't have any claim on it personally, but they can help you with finances. And then the healthcare directive on the other side is going to help if you're in a coma or if you just can't think clearly. They can hire and fire doctors, choose your medical providers, you can choose a hospital, nursing
Does that
home,
also
whatever.
include if, say, you're just on a machine and they're like, you're going to be on a machine forever, like kind of like a vegetable?
Yes,
So they can decide, or maybe that someone who writes it up says, I don't want to be a vegetable, let me go, or...
Yeah, but part of the healthcare directive includes a living will that determines what happens when you want to go. Some people
Okay.
will say, you know what, I'm going to name this agent and let them make all the decisions. Other people will say, in these specific circumstances, you have to let me go. And they take that
Okay.
burden away from the person making the decisions. They just know
yeah.
it's going to happen.
Okay.
There have been people who have gone through the courts because you've got a husband who's ready to let someone go, and then you've got family members who want to keep them around when they're on those machines. And it can be quite a mess in the courts.
So that can be important to appoint someone maybe financially to take care of things and then maybe health-wise to take care of
Right,
things,
right. And
just
you can-
depending on their
And
personality or
sometimes
their
it's
interest
the
in
same
it.
person.
It could be the
Right.
same person, and that's common, but I've also seen a lot of parents who say, this child is good with this issue, this child is good with that issue, and they'll name different people.
So
That
interesting.
is interesting. Okay,
Okay.
I wanted to ask, what if we don't have the funds to purchase? Like coming into you, you said your package. Tell us like some pricing.
Right, so an estate plan, if it's for a couple, that includes the whole package, that's $1,250.
$1,250.
Right.
Okay, because sometimes people can misunderstand. Well,
I do hear the joke, yeah, $12.50.
50 cents,
That's
that
great.
is a
You
deal.
are
what a steal.
Yes, for singles, it's $1,000.
Okay.
But this includes all of these things and a deed that gets recorded in one county that puts your property into the trust. And a lot of people who try to do their own estate planning don't know that's crucial, is to get the deed your house into the trust. Otherwise, we're still going to probate, and it was a waste
Okay.
of time.
Okay.
You need someone smart to do
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, and just to
special.
know those
attorney.
steps and those little pitfalls
Loopholes
that we
that
might
there is.
miss.
There are many. Yeah.
What things could we do that would be free? Any?
Well, there are actually several things you can do that are free. If you will write your own will and you handwrite it and you date it and you sign it, that's a legal will that will stand up in court. You don't have to have a notary,
Wow.
you don't have to have witnesses. But if you add a notary and witnesses, that adds a little strength, because someone may argue that that wasn't really your
signature.
Your signature.
Yeah.
But that's a minimum you could do for free. In addition to that, you can write a letter that states your wishes regarding burial, regarding your funeral, care for your pets, things like that. You can also do a healthcare directive. If you go to your doctor and ask them to print out a form, it will state who your agent will be, that kind of thing. I use a very similar form to the one that's produced by the state, And so that would be a free form you could get on your own. I will help you through the form if you come to me, and it'll be part of your whole package. Let's see here. What else could you do for free? I had a note.
We can also have a free consultation with you.
Yes, you can.
Okay, perfect.
And when you do, we'll spend 30 minutes talking about what your situation is and tailor your specific needs. I can actually save you a lot of time and trouble in those 30 minutes. In addition to that, you can go to your bank and name a primary and secondary beneficiary. If you do that with all of your accounts, then if someone dies, like your spouse, you'll have a backup. That person will inherit.
I feel like the older I get, the more I'm aware of these other things that maybe I need to take the reins in on. When before, you didn't worry much about it. But that was setting the record clear that if you have a child, if you have a home, then you're never too young or old to start this process.
Absolutely.
Ken, thank you for joining us. How can people find you?
Well, my website is prigmorelaw.com.
Okay.
I'm at the Canyon Creek Professional Center, just east of the post office. I share an office with Wasatch Land and Title.
Okay.
And,
Is it Bueller Dental? Is that
they're
the
in there
same?
as well,
Okay,
yes.
perfect. Awesome.
And I'm happy to talk to anyone who has questions.
Well, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
My
Natasha
pleasure.
will be sad. She said to say hi.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Thank you.
There's more studio chatter coming up.